here's a thing you might not know about yourself. You have a set of virtues that are a natural part of who you are. These are traits that you find fulfilling, that are valuable to society, and that not everyone else has. And using them will allow you to flourish. So let's talk about those. What are they? How do you find out which ones you have? And can knowing about them really make you happier? I'm Jen Tatro, and this is From Jen. I've been taking this Yale course on the science of happiness. It's free and online, so I'll link it for you down in the description. In taking this course, the concept of signature strengths has been one of the most revealing and helpful for me. So I'm super excited today to share with you what I've learned. In this video, we'll talk about the whole concept of character strengths and signature strengths, how you discover what yours are, and what the research says about them making you happy. And if you hang on until the end, I'll tell you exactly what my signature strengths are and what using them has taught me about myself in the past few months. The idea is this: no matter who you are or where you live, how you look, or what your upbringing was, you possess your own set of character strengths. This is based on research by a group of psychologists headed up by this guy, Martin Seligman. He's considered the father of positive psychology, and these character strengths form the basis of the whole discipline of positive psychology. I'll let Dr. Seligman tell you what they are.
So character in Chris Peterson and my hands was the set of strengths that contributed to well-being that every parent wanted for every child, that every religion, every politics across time has agreed on. So those are the strengths of character.
So after a lot of refining and boundary setting to determine the defining characteristics of a character strength, which you can read about in Seligman's book, Authentic Happiness, Seligman, together with Dr. Christopher Peterson, came up with 24 strengths that they divide up into 6 virtue categories. So the strengths are under wisdom, creativity, curiosity, judgment, love of learning, and perspective. Under courage, bravery, honesty, perseverance, and zest. Under humanity, kindness, love, and social intelligence. Under justice, fairness, leadership, and teamwork. Under temperance, forgiveness, humility, prudence, and self-regulation. And under transcendence, appreciation of beauty and excellence, gratitude, hope, humor, and spirituality. We are not all brimming with all of these. In fact, one of the characteristics that researchers looked for when creating this list was strengths that some people have in the extreme and that others are almost completely lacking. The 24 character strengths are ubiquitous in the sense that they're present in nearly all societies, but they're not universal in that they're exhibited by all individuals. That's not a bad thing, and in fact, it can be freeing. Out of these 24 strengths, we all have some that are really present for us, and some that not so much. It can be super helpful to know which are which. In Dungeons and Dragons, and stick with me here, in D&D, there's a character creation strategy called min-maxing. When you make a new D&D character, you get a certain number of points to spread out amongst different strengths. And a lot of players have discovered that if you spend these points in a way that maximizes some abilities and minimizes others, it can make for a character that's just a lot of fun to play. When you play a character like that, you focus on the good stuff, the stuff that you're great at, and you figure out how to solve problems by doing the things that you do best. Now, of course, in D&D, that thing is often hitting the problem with a sword. And that's not super practical in real life. But my main point stands. and that's that it's a blast to do things you're good at. The gold standard test for determining your top strengths, the character strengths that you have in spades, is at viacharacter.org. I'll put that link down in the description too, but it's free. It takes about 10 minutes, and I'd really encourage you to try it because it was incredibly eye-opening for me. When you look at your top strengths, if you're anything like me, you're going to have some where you're like, whoa, that is really part of who I am. I see that in myself. Those are your signature strengths. They might be things you already sort of knew about yourself, but never really articulated. Seligman talks about some other ways of recognizing your signature strengths too. You might have a sense of excitement about displaying them or a yearning to find ways to use them. You might even find yourself coming up with personal projects or pursuing hobbies that play to those strengths. Like a min-max D&D character, using your signature strengths feels easy and is a lot of fun. And leaning into them is a key to what Seligman calls authentic happiness. This idea of prioritizing what we're good at and what we enjoy was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. Somehow, I've always had this notion that I needed to be well-rounded. And if I didn't like something or I wasn't great at it, I should work to improve that part of myself. And in fact, that should be my focus. Like, I hated math in high school. I hated it. But I still took calculus in college because I felt like it was something I needed to do to make myself a better person. Looking back now at the age of 51, I kind of wish I'd taken a theater or art appreciation class instead, something that was out of my immediate realm of experience, but that I felt drawn to and excited by because I was not and am still not excited by calculus. Since Peterson and Seligman codified the 24 character strengths, they've been a topic of many, many research studies. A 2012 paper by Claudia Harzer and Willibald Rusch of the University of Zurich investigated the use of signature strengths at work. And they learned that the more often workers were called on to use their signature strengths in their jobs, the more positive experiences they had. And the more likely they were to consider their work more than just a job, but a calling. A 2022 study by Lisa Wagner and Rusch again found that when students used character strengths in school, they experienced greater well-being even into the next day after they'd used their strengths. And a 2010 study by Hadassah Littman Ovadia and Michael Steger linked the use of character strengths to well-being and a sense of meaning in both volunteers and paid workers. I could go on because there are a lot more of these studies, but all I'm really trying to illustrate is this stuff holds up to investigation. If you want to be happier with your work, choose an occupation where you get to use your signature strengths. And the same goes for how you approach your relationships and your hobbies. I've been thinking about this a lot because I've had a lot of jobs that really didn't make me happy. I took the test at viacharacter.org, and my top 10 strengths were love of learning, perspective, prudence, perseverance, appreciation of beauty and excellence, curiosity, honesty, judgment, fairness, and kindness. When I took some time to really think about it, though, about which of those light me up and make me excited to wake up in the morning, it came down to 4 of these that I really consider signature strengths. First, the love of learning. This involves mastering new skills and systematically adding to your body of knowledge. I think any of you who have regularly watched this channel could probably have figured out that this is one of my signature strengths. You could probably figure it out just by watching this video. I am a perpetual student, whether that be by taking actual courses or pursuing knowledge on my own accord. My second signature strength is perspective. Perspective means seeing the big picture and having a way of looking at the world that makes sense to you and to other people. It's being able to give good advice and incorporate multiple points of views when looking at a problem. And wow, it is a bit uncomfortable to acknowledge these positive traits about myself. I didn't really expect that to happen. Number three. Number three is the appreciation of beauty and excellence. I think of this one as being in touch with awe. It's being able to really notice the beauty in art and nature and appreciating the skills and talents you see in other people. And finally, honesty. Honesty isn't just about telling the truth. It's about presenting yourself in a sincere way and being open about who you really are. I don't know that honesty has always been one of my signature strengths, but it certainly is now, and it's something that I thrive on. I'd also like to give an honorable mention to perseverance, which doesn't really entice me to get up in the morning, but it's definitely a quality that's a fundamental part of who I am. Perseverance is continuing forward even when there are obstacles. It's seeing projects through to the end and taking pleasure in the completion of tasks. Love of learning, perspective, appreciation of beauty and excellence, honesty, and perseverance. It occurred to me that this particular combination of skills is actually why I am here talking to you today. This channel keeps me learning new things every week, both in terms of filming and editing skills and in terms of content for the videos. My perspective allows me to distill that information through the filter of my own experiences and pick out the pieces that really could make a difference in your life and mine. My appreciation of beauty and excellence helps hone my eye for how I want my videos to look and feel. And honesty has me sitting here in front of you, week in and week out, admitting that I don't have it all together. I don't have all the answers. I'm still practicing and searching because I am. That's the whole reason why this happiness research is so compelling to me. I want to be happier. And of course, perseverance, the reason why I've made 175 videos now without being paid for a single one. Sometimes looking at it from the outside, I wonder if I don't have perseverance to a fault, if at some point I should just cut and run. But I don't. That's not who I am. When I look at other parts of my life, I can see the pattern too. Whenever I use these strengths in relationships, in hobbies, in volunteering, that is when I come alive. And that sense of aliveness, that feeling is what I want out of my life. Taking the time to learn these things about myself, to truly understand these signature strengths, has only made it easier for me to zero in on what works and why. I'm hoping that if you haven't already, I've convinced you to go figure out your signature character strengths. I'll be continuing to talk about this here and in the newsletter, along with all of the usual stuff about life and art and self-care and mindfulness. So be sure to subscribe if that's something that you're interested in. And until next time, I'm wishing you love and joy and all of those good things, and I can't wait to talk to you again.